Welcome, family. Thanks for joining. This is the 13th episode of Exploring the Motherland. The fight for liberation continues. I'm your host, Garth. Thank you for joining, family. The purpose of Exploring the Motherland is to promote the mission of Quest to Unite Africa. Now, some of you may know the mission of Quest to Unite Africa. Some of you may not. Well, I'm here to give you what the mission is. The mission is to create economic development and critical infrastructure opportunities for the continent and the diaspora as a whole. And how we do this is through our 4 initiatives. That would be medical, cultural engagement, technological innovation, and business. Exploring the Motherland will not only just take a look into the current events of Africa or the continent. We will relay and, make bring home the relevance of these news developments as to what we do here at Quest Unite Africa and what we would like to achieve through our strategic relationships. So, family, thank you for joining me on this Friday morning, Eastern Standard Time. And I also want to mention that we are now monetized. So if it's upon your heart to support, please hit that $sign and send a super chat or send a sticker gift. Well, thank you. That's the intro, and let's get to business. Kenyan lawmakers plan impeachment move against deputy president, majority leader says. So let me just give you an overview if you all haven't known what's going on in Kenya. William Ruto, that gentleman right here, if you could see my mouse, and that's the deputy president. That's the equivalent of a vice president. William Ruto has been caught in controversy for pushing this finance bill that would, completely already leave the destitute population of Kenya even more destitute, as their cost of living is still very high. And there's really no other remedy under his regime or under his administration but to raise taxes. And here's the kicker. William Ruto is being supported by the IMF. The IMF is basically the loan sharks of the Western foreign powers. What they do is basically they see that African countries are lacking, any type of economic development. Obviously, that was contrived and, made on purpose. Well, let's not get it twisted. So they put them into loans that they cannot pay under certain circumstances that they must follow in order to get this aid. And William Ruto was pushing this finance bill, and there was a lot of things in it that were distressing to the public, and they felt the need to protest. And this happened back as early as June, and they have been protesting. More than 50 people were deleted during these protests. There's been a lot of shuffling under Ruto's administration. He's been trying to do this political shift to appease the, broader population that are fed up with his nonsense and his corruption. But obviously we see that to no avail. He's really under a microscope. So let me just play these clips and give you an overview, a more in-depth look.
Kenyan lawmakers plan to launch impeachment proceedings against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. That's according to Parliament's majority leader, speaking on Sunday. They accuse him of undermining the government. The move could add to the government's challenges after deadly month-long protests. It reflects a widening rift between President William Ruto and his deputy. Gachagua's spokespeople on Monday did not return calls seeking comment. In recent days, Gachagua has spoken of being sidelined. He denied accusations linking him and his associates to the unrest, calling it a futile attempt to soil his name. On Sunday, he told reporters that any impeachment motion would require Ruto's assent. Gachagua commands support in Kenya's populous central region, and efforts to unseat him could stir up discontent there. More than 50 people were killed in the unrest against the financing legislation. Protesters opposed tax hikes contained in the bill and demanded action against misgovernance and corruption.
All right, so you heard it, family. They are trying to impeach this man. Let me try to pronounce his name. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. So basically, Ruto is finding a scapegoat to not only place blame on someone for all these, political mishaps and all this mishandling of the economy and whatnot, but also at the same time, this deputy president is going to be his ops or opposition for the next election. So he's, trying to do two birds with one stone, for lack of a better term.
There have been mixed reactions among Nakuru residents here in Nakuru County. We have this is a county that gave the UDA ticket over 455,000 votes in the 2022 general elections. And with me here are some of the residents who can share with us maybe what are their views regarding to the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Here with me, we start with you, sir. In 1 minute, maybe you can tell us what are your views concerning the impeachment of Deputy President.
Thank you very much. I'm Aden Skawidi. In fact, we Kenyans we are very much disappointed. We are so much disappointed because the country needs a lot to be done. We have a lot to be done in the sector of health. We have a lot to be done in the Ministry of Education and the university funding. There are so many issues. Even the counties have not received their annual locations. This matter of mudslinging of the impeachment is null and void. In fact, the nation is now at stake when those people are fighting to remove a person they have been working with. This is mudslinging with the worst character. In fact, in this country, decency has been thrown out through the window and replaced by political thuggery. Political thuggery and vindictiveness is mudslinging. We want people to unite, Kenya to be united in one. How do you want many Kenyans to be divided on the case of removing somebody from his own job? I think if the parliament have his own way, the reasonable people of the Senate shall have to divide that, and the people should come together. The ball is up to the honest fact is up to the presidency. The presidency is the symbol of national unity, and with Article 10 talks of ethos and national values. He should not unite his own people, and Kenya becomes one again. Not the ultimate goal of correction, divisive and black business is an island vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We hear the views of another resident here. Tell us your name and maybe what are your views concerning this impeachment.
Thank you so much. My name is Assumpta Waguiwa Muiruri. Mimi ni kiongozi katika Nakuru County. Na vile vile nimekuwa nikifuatilia sana hii maneno ya impeachment. Na nimesema tangia siku ya mwanzo Kenya ni gari. Na hii gari iko na dereva wake na iko na makanga. Na ndani ya gari kuna abiria. Abiria ni mwananchi. Fanya. Kama Gachagua amefanya.
We need to be very careful on the African divide.
If you will allow me just one more person to tell us maybe their views here. How do you feel about this impeachment?
Asante, my name is Reverend Kaisha, one of the leaders, the clergy of African Divine Church. My view is we need to be very careful on this issue of impeachment. We thank God because the president was in the same scenario a few years ago. And the former president by then did not take action or did not crusade people against him. So he needs to be very careful. He needs to be sober. Let the same energy that is being used to impeach Rigathi be used to do development in Kenya. We have a lot of things that are pending, and personally I feel that it's a misplaced agenda. We need to be very keen. Now, If we don't do that, then the regime today, the Kenya regime now is enlightened in many things. But my prayer is let the president come out and speak something, because he is the only remedy as at now. Tujue kama yeye kama baba kiongozi kama atazima hii kitu. Inasemekana kwamba when ukisikia mtu ni wazimu in this country, we need peace and this mugu. So but yeye ndio ako na dawa ya kuponya hii. Watu wasianze careful, especially clergymen and the people in this church in this country. We need peace and the same energy. Wenzetu wabunge wafanye maendeleo katika.
All right, sorry about that, family, about the different language. So basically, what's going on is this Deputy President Rigathi is accused of also causing ethnic strife against different tribes within Africa. And you know how that could get. And basically, that gentleman saying that using that as also another excuse could cause more unrest and protest. And instead of William Ruto and his regime impeaching the deputy president, he is just using that as a smokescreen instead of creating economic growth and building up critical infrastructure for the Kenyans to be able to use and to help them get out of this debt. But like I said earlier, he put this country in debt by taking bad loans from the IMF, and the IMF put rigid conditions on those loans that were put in those finance bills that he had to scrap after the population, especially the young population, started to protest. So here at Quest Unite Africa, what we like to do is culturally engage with our brothers and sisters and find ways on how to, make sure their voice is heard, make sure what they value is being displayed and, conveyed through all their different, businesses or their everyday life, instead of, William Ruto, pushing this Western, ethos of, taking bad loans and then, lying, basically what the West taught him. And we also want to, help them understand that they need to first come together and, figure out what are the most important issues in the country. And once they find out the most important issues in the country, find out ways and different initiatives to help, project in that direction. And also through here at QTUA, we would like to be consultants on or global financial advisors to help them stay up to date on international financial trends and laws to ensure that their goals are being met, and also to help them with things like currency exchange rate, helping them just come with the complexities of shifting in a global market. And we can help them also with investments and just guide them as to how to balance a checkbook. How can the countries, how could they stabilize themselves while having a little growth instead of taking on loans, because they take these loans and then they don't have the workforce or the population to have any type of empowerment. They don't use the money to create initiatives that help put younger people in better positions to get jobs or to even have their own entrepreneurial goals or pursuits. So that's how we would help. And I'm going to go on to the next story. Mali junta arrests 4 Barrick Gold employees. Well, if you haven't known, in the Sahel, those 3 states, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, which I had the pleasure of visiting, are now on code. They get it. They are taking their resources back. Barrick is a Canadian mining company that is one of the largest, world's largest gold mining companies, and one of the Mali's top gold producers. So now that they found out that there's corruption within this mining operation, this just pushes Mali towards gaining back more independence of their resources and making laws that, kind of incentivize them to have national operation of their own mines instead of continuing to rely on, foreign entities to, produce their gold and then, have it pennies on the dollar for that gold and for that production as well. Earlier, Niger, if you look this up, you could look this up. They kicked out one of the biggest French mining companies as well. So this is literally a shift in influence, and they are spearheading this revolutionary change in Africa.
Mali has arrested 4 employees of Canadian gold miner company from Barrick gold miner. This is reportedly related to financial crimes that they have committed. They are said to be senior officials from Barrick gold miner, which is a Canadian one. Now, this development, first of all, the news is this article is from the Sputnik Africa, which is owned by Russia. Let me just share that article with you. So this development came, as you know, amid the growing threat, not by Malian government, but not only by Mali and by Niger and Burkina Faso in their, struggle to assert a greater control over the country's natural resources, including a new mining code in Mali's case that grants the government greater ownership of gold concessions. As of now, Mali's government stake in gold mining company remains to be only 20%. Now, the article says 4 senior Malian employees of Barrick Gold, the world's second largest gold miner and one of Mali's top gold producers, have been arrested in Mali on charges of financial crimes, according to multiple Western media sources. Now, the arrest, which reportedly took place on Wednesday, come amid a broader shift in Mali's mining policy, which is aimed at increasing state control over gold revenue. Now, the government official confirmed arrests, while a second source also from the government said within the Malian mining sector identified the detainees as senior Barrick employees. Now, neither the Barrick gold miner nor the government of Mali has officially released a statement, except being a source for those who are publishing this article. Now, the government of Mali, led by Colonel Assimi Goïta, which took power in 2021 in June, it has proposed a new law which will enable the Malian government to have more stake. Currently, it has 20% stake in Barrick gold miner and also another Canadian B2B gold miner company. It has 20% in each of them, but they are trying to raise it to 35%. Now, the Mali government has been in talk with the gold miners over proposed changes to its mining law that could see boost state and private Malian interests in new projects to 35% from up to 20%, which is of today. Now, according to a draft of the new code that has been prepared by the Malian government. Now, the government announced the review of the mining code in January, and it said an internal audit had shown that Mali, one of Africa's biggest gold producer, was not receiving a fair share of profit while granting too many tax breaks. Now, Mali is the third largest gold producer in Africa, following Ghana and South Africa. In the world, Mali is, I think, 11th place, if I'm not mistaken. The first one is China, then Russia, Australia, Canada, United States, Ghana, Indonesia, Peru, Mexico, Uzbekistan, Mali, South Africa, Burkina Faso, and yeah, it continues. So Mali is on 11th place currently in the world. So that's what the government, not only the government of Mali, but also that's what is the Niger's government trying to do to have more ownership in their natural resources like uranium in the case of Niger. Also Burkina Faso has gold, so that's what also Burkina Faso is trying, not only raising the stake, but also to get the payment of loyalty, raising it. So really these governments are doing well, because unless Africa is able to own back its own natural resource, most of it's operated, the mining or the extraction happens whether that country has an oil or mineral, the extraction happens by a foreign company or foreign governments. One of it's because not only lack of capacity and finance, but also there's a lack of technology. So in fact, there are not so many students or people who are, studying mining. We see a lot of Africans going outside of Africa to study something, but we don't see them really studying mining, because you really have to have people trained in mining. I remember there was this one, I think it's a guy from South Africa. It's the Western people who are studying this, but they don't have the natural resource. They come and to extract it, whether it's from Africa or other countries, and they set up these firms, mining companies. Is there any African mining company? Maybe there is, but I'm sure it's not more than a handful of mining company that is really operating in Africa, if there is one with its full potential. Okay, so there are a lot of challenges. We ourselves also, when we get a chance to study something, we don't really, because I'm saying this, I really don't want to point to say, one of those journalists or whatever to come and every time criticize or imperialists this and that, colonizers. We also have to be accountable for our own fault. There are things that we need to do, or have we done our own homework before pointing our finger at others? So there are a lot of things to set up those departments for students to go and study not only agriculture, but what about the natural resource? Then, we have no right to blame these foreign companies if we don't have that technology, if we don't have the money to do it, and this and that. Why should we blame them? Are we ready even to do it? Or are we just saying, okay, leave our countries, then what? This is why I mean, somebody may ask or might ask, why not 100%? No, then you have to be able to do it by yourself. That country, the state have to be able to do it 100% by it.
All right. And by the way, all videos and articles are in the description if you would like to look over it yourself. So basically what that sister said at the end towards the video. Also, I want to thank Ema, Minnie, K Loves Ya, and Team Truth for their gifts. I truly appreciate it. God bless you. All right. And so basically she was saying that, yes, it's great to have, ownership of your resources, but also training is needed, and that's where we come in. We could have experts in mining able to oversee their current operation, how we can make it better, things on being more environmentally responsible, improving a mine's environmental impact, ensuring compliance with environmental and governmental and industrial standards. Also, training to help increase the efficiency of forecasting, basically seeing what's ahead and how the gold mining production would look like in the future, and what it would reap and what it would gain and what that output would look like. And just basically we would go in there and have, so she was basically about training. You would want to create some type of knowledge database that allows the workers to be able to train themselves, or to have basically the knowledge to, create, the knowledge to develop their own industry, basically. And then about that mining law, this next video will talk about it and how it came to be. And basically, this is a business initiative that Mali has made to make sure that they get more stake in their gold, and they also are incentivizing more national production from its own people, instead of having the West or Canada or this Barrick mine come in and, just do it all, and then really just not give education on how to sustain it, and just, basically have them just in there, basically perpetually just on that gold mine, just taking whatever they can and not really giving anything back.
Hi, welcome to the African World Channel. Barrick Gold, a big mining company based in Toronto, is facing trouble in Mali. The military rulers of Mali, who came to power after a coup in 2021 and have since become allies with Russia, are trying to tighten their grip on the country's economy. They're focusing on the valuable mining sector, particularly Barrick's main asset, the Lilobionkoto mine. Remember to subscribe to our channel, give the video a thumbs up, and share it with others to help us reach a wider audience. Now let's get back to the video. The junta, which took over after a coup in 2021 and has since allied with Russia, is trying hard to control Mali's valuable mining industry. They're particularly interested in taking over Barrick's main asset, the Lilobionkoto mine. The Lilobionkoto mine is one of the world's biggest gold producers. It's super important for Barrick because it makes them a lot of money. The junta might take it over as part of their plan to control every natural resource in Mali. Ever since the coup, Barrick, which is listed on the New York Stock Exchange, has been dealing with challenges in Mali. The government there has changed mining laws, wants more control of the mines, and is doing audits that Barrick disagrees with. So, there's tension between Barrick and the government, and Barrick could lose its mines. Mali recently made a deal with Russia to build a big gold refinery in its capital. This would be the largest gold refinery in West Africa. Before that, a top official in Mali's mining department said they're doing really well with gold production and might even beat their goal for 2024. Barrick's mines in Mali have given the country's economy a small boost over the past 25 years, bringing in $8.7 billion. But Barrick makes way more money each year, over $11 billion, and is worth a lot more than Mali's entire economy. The company's stock has dropped a bit because of the news about the junta wanting to take over the mines. This situation in Mali reflects a broader issue across Africa, where valuable resources are often exploited by foreign corporations with the help of corrupt officials. Many African countries do not benefit adequately from their own resources, highlighting the need for change. Africa is rich in resources, but often suffers from exploitation rather than benefiting from them. The Malian military leaders aiming to manage the nation's resources is a positive move, but it's crucial that they prioritize using the income from gold to support citizens and develop infrastructure. This investment can drive Mali towards industrialization. A responsible country ensures that foreign companies don't take away its resources without giving back a fair share of the profits. They safeguard their own interests. There should be laws requiring foreign companies to refine resources within the country. If you're feeling discouraged about Africa, don't lose hope. The right leaders will emerge soon. Here are ways Africans can benefit from their natural resources once they take control. Taking control of natural resources is crucial for countries for several reasons. Firstly, it allows them to regulate the extraction and management processes, ensuring that these resources are exploited sustainably without causing environmental degradation or depletion. By having oversight, countries can implement policies and practices that minimize ecological damage and promote responsible resource utilization. Secondly, when countries control their natural resources, they can ensure that the profits generated from their exploitation directly benefit their citizens. This means that revenue from resource extraction can be reinvested into the country's economy through various channels, such as infrastructure development, education, healthcare, and social welfare programs. By investing in these areas, countries can improve the quality of life for their citizens and reduce poverty levels. Moreover, taking control of natural resources helps to safeguard national interests and sovereignty. Allowing foreign companies to extract and profit from a country's resources without any regulation or oversight can lead to exploitation and dependency. By asserting control over these resources, countries can protect their sovereignty and maintain autonomy over their economic policies and decisions. Furthermore, managing natural resources internally allows countries to negotiate better terms with foreign entities involved in resource extraction. By having leverage in negotiations, countries can secure more favorable agreements that ensure a fair distribution of profits and technology transfer. This can promote economic development and industrialization by fostering local industries and creating job opportunities. Additionally, controlling natural resources can enhance a country's geopolitical position and influence on the global stage. Countries with abundant natural resources often hold significant leverage in international relations as they become sought-after partners for trade and investment. This can open up opportunities for diplomatic alliances, economic cooperation, and strategic partnerships, further bolstering a country's standing in the international community. In conclusion, taking control of natural resources is essential for countries to promote sustainable development, protect national interests, and improve the well-being of their citizens. By managing these resources responsibly and strategically, countries can harness their potential to drive economic growth, foster social progress, and strengthen their position in the global arena.
All right, so you heard it, family. That's exactly what we're trying to do here at Quest Unite Africa, strategic partnerships in order to help our brothers and sisters be able to tap into that, tap into their resources for the first time. And, you know, this is going to be empowering for them because then they could kick out, you know, and foreign invaders, as you know, all the people have been saying. Yes, they need to get out of Mali, totally off the continent. And Sister Kathy Jones, absolutely. I think Africa would be a superpower if they kicked out all Western nations and their own corrupt leaders. I don't think you need to think that, Sister Kathy Jones. That's definitely the problem. They need to kick out the Western nations and their puppets. And, you know, that's so apropos. Thank you for this, because next story segue, and I believe this is the highlight, of the show. New cost of living rallies planned in Nigeria.
Nigeria could see new rallies on Tuesday with citizens protesting against a cost of living crisis. Named Fearless October 1st, the demonstrations have been timed to coincide with Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary, which falls on Tuesday, October 1st. Organizers told local media that rallies would take place in the capital Abuja, the port city of Lagos, and in provincial capitals across the West African country. Demonstrations rocked Nigeria in July and August, with protesters demanding the reinstatement of a fuel subsidy and an end to government corruption. About 24 people were killed in a crackdown by security forces, according to rights groups. On his first day in office, President Bola Tinubu ended a decades-long fuel subsidy that had helped keep prices down. His government also twice devalued the currency, causing prices of just about everything to jump.
Well, if you don't know who President, I don't remember his first name, that's not even relevant, Tinubu is, well, you're going to find out. This man has literally put Nigeria in one of the biggest economic crises when, Nigeria is literally one of the biggest oil producers, has a lot of resources, and he still hasn't come up with any initiatives to help foster any strategic relationships between his population, more so the younger population who's struggling. 63% of the people in Nigeria are poor, and the government has been struggling to create jobs, and this is the second biggest protest in 2 months, and they continue to protest against Tinubu's misallocation of funds. This man bought a $500 million jet while they were in the midst of an economic crisis and went to China. I don't know if you all know how sus that is, as we say, or suspect. Tinubu hasn't really done anything to help create initiatives to help, make energy cheaper or bring industry into Nigeria that is beneficial to the population. It seems like he's just another puppet at the behest of Western nations. And you could tell, he's literally going to, he's literally leaving the country while they're in one of the biggest crises. And, he's gone to this visit in the UK literally after this protest and during this protest. But his saving face or saving grace is that he promises to create an initiative between the younger people to hear them out and to listen to what they want and what they need for them to get out of this economic hole. Obviously, it's failed before because Tinubu has done all these shifty things as to take away a subsidy that made gas cheaper. And yes, Team Truth, that $500 million jet is outrageous. But we will see here in this next story how he really doesn't care.
Now, from Kenya in East Africa, we move to Nigeria in the West. Dozens of Nigerians marched through the streets of the capital Abuja and the commercial capital of Lagos to protest against economic hardships. Angry protesters raised slogans against President Bola Tinubu, calling him a thief. Now, to quell the protest, the police fired tear gas in Abuja. However, it later said that the tear gas was used to forestall some miscreants who were taking advantage of the protest to loot shops. Tuesday's protest coincided with Nigeria's 64th Independence Day, which the protesters dubbed as the National Day of Survival. Protesters waved placards and the Nigerian national flag while demanding better opportunities and better jobs for young people.
Poverty is not from heaven. Poverty is man-made and is made by the politicians. Why the politicians want to use this opportunity to celebrate what is not, the people are saying we have nothing to celebrate. Nigeria is not independent after 64 years. Nigeria is in pain and hardship. Nigeria is in poverty, insecurity. Nigeria is in mass suffering, starvation. The poverty level has increased even after 1 year that Bola Tinubu came into power.
Protesters claimed that measures implemented by President Tinubu's government, such as a quarterly cash transfer benefit, are insufficient to help them tide over the current cost of living crisis. They also criticized the extravagance and lavish lifestyle of Nigeria's political leaders, while ordinary citizens continue to be burdened by financial woes. Now, President Tinubu's administration also gave quarterly cash transfers of about 25,000 naira or $15 to 15 million households. In July, Nigeria doubled the minimum wage to 70,000 naira or $44. But these measures failed to address concerns and to assure many Nigerians about the state of Nigeria's economy. In his Independence Day speech, President Bola Tinubu asked the people to be patient and said that he was aware of the struggles of ordinary Nigerians. Defending the controversial economic measures, Tinubu said that they were necessary and were beginning to bear results. Now, President Tinubu also announced a 30-day national youth conference to address the challenges faced by Nigerian youngsters, who constitute more than 60% of the country's population.
I am deeply aware of the struggles many of you face in these challenging times. Our administration knows that many of you struggle with rising costs and the search for meaningful employment. I want to assure you that your voices are heard. I am pleased to announce the gathering of a national youth conference. This conference will be a platform to address the diverse challenges and opportunities confronting our young people.
Nigeria's economic crisis has been triggered by a cocktail of factors such as COVID-19 pandemic, economic mismanagement, and insecurity in the country's north. Now, after coming to power in May of 2023, President Bola Tinubu implemented the World Bank recommended measures for countries' long-term economic stability. President Tinubu removed a key subsidy that kept fuel prices low for ordinary Nigerians. He also scrapped the policy of pegging the Nigerian naira to the US dollar. This move led to the naira losing more than 50% of its value, making imports expensive. Now, these factors have majorly contributed to the current cost of living crisis, with inflation recorded at 32% in August. Now, this was Nigeria's second mass protest in the last 2 months. During the last protest in August, at least 20 protesters were killed in clashes with security forces, while hundreds were arrested. Nigeria's current administration has pitched the impact of the current economic measures as a temporary stumble necessary for the country's long-term economic stability. But the ongoing cost of living crisis continues to test the economic resilience of millions of ordinary Nigerians.
First Post decodes the U.S. election.
Well, you have the family. Tinubu was, he hasn't done anything to really help the population. They just are waiting for, his empty promises. The National Youth Conference is probably not going to be fruitful. I say here at Quest Unite Africa, we would be able to help our younger brothers and sisters with guidance. Maybe we could get guidance counselors and those who are experts in training the youth and leadership initiatives to help create businesses. Through businesses, we could help create leadership programs, training programs for jobs so they could feel more empowered. And I believe the guidance counselors would be a good idea. Whoever, get guidance counselors in there, or people who have, worked with youth, or people who have gone through different types of struggle to help them, not lose hope, and to give them goals that they could shoot for, or goals to help them, see through all this corruption and to see that there's hope and light at the end of the tunnel. So what good is he? He is no good to the African people, Cynthia. He is literally a puppet, and he's literally there at the behest of Western powers. And literally, he's just continues to just mismanage their money and spend it right in front of their face. And I mean, literally, Nigeria is gonna be one of the, I feel like, one of the next nations in West Africa to start, kicking out the puppets and really start, taking control of their country. And then again, that would be very dangerous to the West, because Nigeria is one of the biggest oil producers in the world. And also, to help combat that import, issue, why are they importing oil when you're one of the biggest producers of oil? That makes no sense. You should probably find a way to build critical infrastructure that allows you to, distribute different crude oil or petroleum products in order to help expand your critical infrastructure. Not only that, you will expand a lot more industry, as people will have electricity, and people will be able to use their electricity to open different businesses, to open, different projects that could help sustain the electrical grid, because most of them are getting gas from diesel, from a generator, which is not sustainable and it's not clean. So we should find ways to get experts in energy consulting to help, find different ways to have energy saving technologies, and find ways to put that in action to help them not only get some of the benefit of having different industries, of different ways of energy, so they don't have to rely solely on petrol. And then they could also find ways to expand that new energy to do different things, such as solar power, that's from the sun, wind energy, wind, hydropower, which is using the power of waves and turbines to sorry fam, it's been a long day or morning, to power their electricity grid. Also, they could use geothermal energy that's from the Earth's core. And basically, we want to be able to expand their industry and energy, so the people are not relying on the government subsidies, or the government's, the government's oil, or the government's action to have the oil that they need to, just sustain the country itself. Because it seems like there's a mismanagement of supplies and a mismanagement of the production chain. It just seems like Tinubu is there, just, stalling economic growth and progress with his legislation and his initiatives. And again, it's all, lip service. And again, this next story just proves my point.
Hello and welcome. We begin with the latest from Nigeria, where amid growth.
Also, family, if can you please hit that like button, and please share and subscribe and comment. And also, family, if you could help a brother out, if it feels if the Most High leads it on your heart, If you like what you're watching, please hit that $ and send a super chat or a super sticker, and it would be much appreciated. Thank you, family.
Growing economic woes, President Bola Tinubu has left for a 2-week vacation to the United Kingdom. Tinubu, who is the 16th person to hold the president's office, left for the United Kingdom on Wednesday, and he will return to Nigeria once his leave expires. In a statement, the president's advisor said that the head of state would use the 2 weeks as a working vacation and a retreat to reflect on his administration's economic reforms. The announcement on the president's vacation during an economic crisis triggered reactions on social media. While some questioned who approved the president's leave, others said that he might as well step down and take a longer break. It is not clear whether Tinubu, who has been in office since May of 2023, transferred his powers and responsibilities to his deputy, Kashim Shettima, as mandated by the Nigerian constitution. Tinubu is known to have taken several official and private trips outside Nigeria ever since he came to power in 2023. So much so that he, along with Kenya's President William Ruto, have also been labeled as Africa's flying presidents. The opposition in Nigeria have also called him tourist-in-chief. Now, a report by the Nigeria-based International Center for Investigative Reporting found that Bola Tinubu had undertaken at least 17 trips between May of 2023 and April of 2024. Now, Tinubu's so-called working vacation to the UK comes at a time when Nigeria is dealing with its worst economic crisis in a generation. The West African country, with a population of more than 200 million, has seen fuel prices soar and inflation hit nearly 3-decade highs. Now, ever since he has come to power, Tinubu has undertaken several reforms, such as easing foreign exchange controls, devaluing the local currency, and cutting subsidies on fuel and electricity, which experts say would help Nigeria attract more investors and revive the economy. But it has led to more hardships for Nigerians who are already struggling with eroding household incomes, high rates of unemployment, worsening crime rates, and skyrocketing food prices. At least 2 rounds of protests have been held against Tinubu's reforms that are aimed at cutting government spending and stimulating long-term growth. Protesters who took to the streets in August and again in October have demanded Tinubu to lower food, electricity, and fuel prices, as well as bring an end to their misery. Tinubu, in a speech to the nation on the 1st of October, which marked 64 years of Nigeria's independence, defended the reforms as necessary and said the reforms were already yielding results, such as attracting more than $30 billion in foreign direct investments ever since he assumed office last year. But turning around the debt-laden economy of Nigeria, which late last month saw the World Bank approving a $1.57 billion loan program to support its healthcare and education sectors, has been taking longer than anticipated. The country is struggling to raise output of oil, which is its biggest export earner, while red tapeism and policy inconsistency have discouraged investors and global brands from investing in the country. Now, we will continue to track the evolving situation in Nigeria. While a vacation does give one a fresh perspective and a clearer mind, it remains to be seen whether Bola Tinubu's time off in the UK helps him to resolve the crisis back home, which so far the citizens say he has failed at. To talk more on this, we have with us Chris Khwaja, a political analyst who is joining us live from Abuja. Thank you for being with us, Chris.
Thank you.
Now, what are the public perceptions in Nigeria regarding President's decision to take a vacation abroad, especially at a time when ordinary Nigerians are feeling the financial pressures? And how might this affect his political standing?
As at the last count, the president has undertaken 17 trips outside this country from May 29th, 2023 to date. And these trips are both official and unofficial. The president left this country yesterday, and he is undertaking an official and unofficial trip as well. In the statement that was released, it was called a working vacation because he will be reflecting on the present economic reform with respect to issues around unemployment, insecurity, and inflation. For Nigerians, the president was elected to do two things. One, to protect them, and two, to provide for their welfare in terms of social provisioning. We've witnessed protests, we've witnessed agitation across Nigeria for better lives. People are concerned about the state of affairs in terms of the slow nature of reforms. And they feel the president need to be more proactive. The president need to understand that where they are right now, they are at a crossroad, and that crossroad is defined by the fact that while insecurity has been on the rise, inflation has also been on the rise. So generally, the state of affairs in the country is not too good. But the point is that regardless of where the president stays, regardless of where he is, the focus should be that they want to feel his impact. And that impact is one in which, even if he's in the United Kingdom, he needs to show them that they have a leader. They have a leader that is concerned about their welfare. They have a leader that is also clear about what the directions of reforms will be, rather than living a life that is unpredictable in terms of how decisions are taken.
Yes, and on that, how might this vacation impact his administration's ongoing economic reforms and the other key initiatives?
For many Nigerians, the expectation by 1st October was that they will see decisions that are geared towards addressing some of the lacunas that existed in the last 1 year or more. And one of it is for the president to take a more deeper and critical look at his team with a view to repositioning or rejigging that team towards achieving the best of results. That has not taken place. We are in 3rd October. It's possible that part of what the president is going to do as he travels to the UK will be to reflect and come up with more concrete decisions or steps towards addressing some of those lacunas. We are waiting. It's 2 weeks. Nigerians are waiting. After 2 weeks, or even before the elapse of the 2 weeks, it's possible from the UK he will be taking such decisions, since his press people are here in the country and they will be informing Nigerians or communicating with Nigerians about the outcome of such decisions taken by the president.
Right. And could this vacation be seen as a strategic move for international diplomacy or personal health? And what are the possible benefits and drawbacks?
Public office holders have a right, constitutional right, to a vacation, or what we call annual leave. And what the president is doing is to exercise his right to taking vacation or annual leave like any other Nigerian. And for me, the focus will be not more about the vacation, but about the value that will come from some of the strategic diplomatic trips that diplomatic engagements that he'll be having in the UK. The United Kingdom is a strategic partner to Nigeria. There are many private sector actors in the UK that have business interests in Nigeria. His visits to the UK should afford him an opportunity of also relating or interfacing with such actors with a view to, again, reclaiming some of the lost grounds that we've experienced when it comes to investors' confidence in Nigeria. And for me, at the heart of this investors' confidence is that the president should be able to take a second look at where we are in terms of our foreign policy priorities with a view to revamping these foreign policy priorities. One of it is the fact that as it stands, we do not have ambassadors across the world. And that is a major diplomatic misstep on the part of the Nigerian government. It's important for the president to send ambassadors out there, because part of what these ambassadors will be doing is to project the image of Nigeria, is to also identify and make new friends, as well as strengthen relations with other old friends with a view to reclaiming some of those lost grounds that we've had in the last couple of years.
Right. Chris, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for being with us on First.
All right. Thank you, family, for your gifts. Again, if it feels led upon your heart to send a gift or send a super sticker, that would be greatly appreciated. And I thank you all. So basically what this gentleman, he was very, very, very nice to Tinubu. No way this vacation is going to foster any type of political strategy that, or, diplomatic strategy that could help Nigerians. He has a right to take a vacation, but he takes a vacation literally while everyone is protesting and there's political and economic strife. I mean, I just see Nigeria literally being one of those countries that, who knows, may join the AES, or if they can, or they might make their own initiatives and start pushing their own sovereign nation. So, and as I close out, the most important thing that brother said was ambassadors. Here at Quest to Unite Africa, we are trying to be those ambassadors for our brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora, to let our family know that we are willing and are here to help, and we are here to hear their cries, because we also understand their plight here. It's just that we have a lot of knowledge with little resources. They have a lot of resources with little knowledge. So we need to make that strategic relationship and that effort to come to a meeting of the minds, to realize that we need each other and we can be able to help one another move logistically out of this Western homogeny that is falling and crumbling before our eyes each day. And thank you, family, for joining Exploring the Motherland. The fight for liberation continues. If you look in the description box, you can donate to Quest to Unite Africa. You can donate to Brother Michael's vocational training effort, where he is on Tanzania creating a vocational school that will be able to help brothers and sisters there to be able to, again, utilize their resources and train them to properly use them and how to maintain them. One of the initiatives is food preparation, because a lot of food is spoiled there because they don't have the skills or the tools to preserve the food. And there also, the links are in the description box. And again, family, if you're led to send a gift or send a super chat, thank you. If not, please just like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you all next Friday at the same time, at the same channel. And everyone enjoy their Shabbat and Shalom.